Evening and a very warm welcome to today's session, 6 digits for future members. This is your third session. Thank you very much for joining in. We're waiting for more people to join in as we speak. Um, Today, we have first of all, we begin with your takeaways from the session on Saturday. I was really impressed by the conversation that happened on Saturday. It was really however, there are a few suggestions that we give, and we look at it when we discuss. I mean, we do a recap of the last session. Um, More importantly, today our topic of discussion goal setting, and we are going to use a model by the name OPA model to discuss. So how fuzzy or clear our goal should be, how should be broken down. I have a video with you today that you have a look at, and this I will share with you the model that we're going to work on. So that's our agenda for today. But as I said, let's begin with our recap of the last session. So who's going to let me open up the questions window as well, and we will start. Let me expand the screen. You just have to bear with me for a minute. Oh, okay. Hi, Zahra, how are you? Asad Rafi. All right, so here it goes. Sharing with you. Sharing. So you will now be able to see the screen, the questions being put up on the screen. Um, I think I will also have the attendees in front of me. Now, a lot of comments being made on the questions dialog box. That's fantastic. But I would want a lot of people raising hands to discuss or share their opinion verbally as well. So the more you verbalize, the more the more you have to say about your opinion in an open group. I think the more beneficial it will be. So going forward, I would suggest that fine, do write comments in the questions dialog box. But if there's a specific opinion you have to express, I'll prefer to see a lot of hand raises, and we will give a brief opportunity to everyone to speak. So that's a suggestion. Let's first of all begin with your findings or your feelings or your feedback about the session on Saturday. Um, all right, I'll answer this question first because once again, every session that we begin, there is this conversation about I've missed a few sessions and I've missed a few classes. Is there a recording available? My first humble advice will be try not to. My colleague Feroz is here, and he has compiled a list of topics, contents, and the recording links available. So he will be putting it up on a Google Drive, and it will be available for you throughout the duration of the program for you to retrieve and review. But I can tell you one thing: the real life experience, the experience that you will gather by attending the session live, by speaking up, you will not be able to replicate that if you're not just listening to the recording. So That's my advice. Even if you can take time out, join in, understand what's happening, make a contribution, do try as much to be present live in the session. Um, when you hear other people's opinion, or when you have an opportunity to share your own opinion, which is vetted, or that's has already there's an odd. Can okay? Is it better now? You can't hear me at all now. Not even now. There's something wrong with the internet connection. No, I've just switched to Wi-Fi. You change yours as well. See if you can change yours. Um, all right, audience, can you hear me now? Horace, yes, we're trying to figure out what's the problem. All right, so people are able to hear. Okay, great, 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 great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So switched my Wi-Fi network. I'm, probably because there are a lot of colleagues in the office. Whenever I'm doing a session from the office, I face this issue. So I have to switch to my personal account. All right. Okay. So were you able to hear what I was saying about attending live versus watching a recording? Attending live is definitely beneficial. It helps more. I mean, still better if you're able to express your opinion, if you're able to raise hand, express yourself verbally rather than putting in a comment. Uh, I think always better. So all right. So Sarah has just asked whether how many sessions have happened so far. So Sarah, 1 week of activity has passed. So one down, 17 to go. There were two moderated sessions in the previous week, having started on the I think on Tuesday last week, and there was one unmoderated session that happened on Saturday, a very productive one. Everybody, tried to come on live and share their 30-second introduction, and also 5 different versions of it. Although most of the people only thought that one would be enough, and they'd written down one, but yeah, and we also would want to discuss question formation. So, what type of questions will take your conversation to a higher level, as opposed to uh, what detail do you have to address, in a conversation? And we saw the video put up by by the new Shark Tank, um, recorded by the new Shark Tank, and that was shared with you. We watched that recording, and we noticed, how much of the time was spent by the presenters in addressing what was the proposition, why did they feel it was a very strong proposition, and very little time was spent on how, how did the product work, etc., etc. So that's the beginning. Let's first of all get some feedback on, those who attended the sessions. What do you think? How has it been so far? Is it too rigorous? Is it less engaging? Should be more engaging? Is it engaging? Once again, voice issue. Can others confirm if they can hear me? Can other participants confirm if they can hear me? Yes. Okay. So Haris, this one could be on your end. Please go and check your internet connectivity. Yours might be a little few weak as well. Okay, feedback. Okay, Ozair, engaging and informative. All right, thank you very much. I'm open to more constructive feedback as well. If you feel something needs to change, um, something needs to be added in. I'm very open and flexible to that. Remember, we have to together drive these sessions ourselves for maximum impact. If you'll shy off, or if you'll get into uh, if you'll hide away from or shy away from criticism, I think we will not be helping ourselves. Maruf is saying didn't receive the Saturday session link, and that's why I couldn't join the Saturday session. Is there any other option for unmoderated session to join in? Okay, so I think that was a common query that I have received from some individuals. Um, Maruf, if you would go back to the email that I had sent out, in which we had the invitation link, there were two invites in there. There was an invitation link for the moderated sessions, for the two moderated sessions, which was through GoToWebinar. And in that same email, underneath that, there was another invite, which was for Microsoft Teams and was for the unmoderated session. So I think about 30 individuals, I would say, were able to join the session on Saturday. So I think that sort of goes to show that people had the link available. Please look through my email. Keep that email safe. So anyone who's struggling with finding the right link, please keep that email very safe. It has both links available. Okay. All right, let's revert to feedback. And Rida is saying it's extremely interactive. It's more about knowing ourselves and showing ourselves to others. Yes, in a way, yes. But then remember, we are also working very diligently on creating the right behaviors and the right mindsets. So, everywhere where you go these days, there is this buzz around, yes, skills are important, yes, tools are important, but the right behavior, but the right mindset is the utmost important. And that is what we are working on right now. Okay. What are we doing? Just talking about a 30-second introduction. In a glimpse, we are making you realize what your strengths are. Are there any hidden strengths? Are you bringing your strengths out in a plausible manner, in a manner that people would recognize them and would appreciate them? If you're able to do so, I mean, there is a stronger chance that um, people will appreciate, or people will place you higher in the ranks of a more productive employee, a more productive colleague, a more productive individual in their network. So that impact, I'm sure you'll get to feel it. So thank you, Rida. Muzaffar is saying it's been wonderful session so far, and I believe it's been more enjoying as time forwards. Yes, yes, Muzaffar. So today we're going to talk about goal setting. So once again, having known our strengths now, yeah, having discussed about what type of questions to ask, we are now going to inch towards what goals do we set for ourselves. And remember, when we're setting goals for ourselves, we're once again talking about what are those goals, why do we need to set these goals, right? We will not talk about how will we achieve them, etc. We'll talk about that later. But first of all, what are the goals and why do we want to have those goals in place? We will also ask ourselves these questions: are these the only options we have? So what else is available? What else do I need to do, right? So while you're asking yourself this question, why do I need to set this goal for myself, you're also going to ask, what else can I do? What else is available as an option? So we will look at that today. Thank you very much. Okay. The last session was very interesting, although not contributed much verbally. So, Ali, I would strongly recommend. Fine, you're making comments right now, but I want to see hand raises as well. And there are people who have raised hands. So but you see, unfortunately, the thing is that there are only about 3 or 4 individuals who raise hands, and I want to leave uh, others out. So I suggest a lot of people should raise hands, And in the meanwhile, I'll mark those questions or comments that we need to discuss as well. So let's begin with Asad. And I would want to see a lot of people. I mean, even if it's just one sentence that you say about, how was your feedback, that would be very, very encouraging. I'm going to start unmuting individuals. So Asad, your turn first. Please unmute yourself and share your opinion. And Sarah is next.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Asad, we can hear you.
First of all, hello to all of you, and hello, sir.
Thank
Uh,
you.
First of all, I would like to thank ACCO. I don't know how I can describe that. How ACCA is continuously adding value to my life. As far as the last session is concerned, believe me, I never spoke in any discussion before the last session, and
Hmm?
ACCA, believe me, gave me another level of confidence by making me contribution in the last session. I don't know whether I spoke well or not in the last session. My colleague or you, sir, Ron, will tell me that I spoke well or not. I think that's all from my side.
No, I think very well, and I would be, I would be the first person to encourage you. See, that's the benefit, that's the advantage that I was referring to. You must speak up, okay? And unless you have that ability of, information flowing from your brain through your mouth, that fluency, you must continue to work on it. And this is communication, my friends. Believe you me, it matters the most. Communicating effectively matters a lot. And the first step towards that is that you should start speaking. Thank you very much, Asad. Very well done. There's another perspective that I am enjoying right now, and that is, we have participants from Bangladesh and Sri Lanka as well, right? Listen to their perspective. Try to understand their approach also. And people from Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, when you act interacting with future members from Pakistan, learn from each other as well. I mean, that's the beauty of ACCA's network, that we put you across individuals and from different geographies, from different backgrounds, working in different economies at different stages of their careers, etc. So an excellent opportunity to network with each other and learn from each other as well. What I would also encourage you to do is the sessions on Saturdays, those are the unmoderated ones. I would say unmute your microphone and switch on your camera as well. Yeah. It's a different feeling when you're talking to another individual. It's a different feeling when you're able to put a face to a name, right? So I think that's an excellent opportunity. And remember, these, I mean, we've almost created those WhatsApp groups to which we are going to invite you now. You're going to be friends and colleagues forever. Imagine the group that we put together 2 years ago, the first 6 digits program. Those individuals are still in that group, in that WhatsApp group. They still network with each other. They still talk to each other. They still share interesting information with each other. At times, they share jokes as well. But that's only after their office hours. Now that their 6 digits program is over, they've started sharing other interesting content as well in those groups. But now when we set up these groups for the time being, for the first 4 months or till the end of this program, you'll have to be very, very relevant to the topics that we are discussing. Okay. Afterwards, these will become pure networking groups for you, and you would remember, know each other throughout. So I'm sure you look forward to that. Sarah Batul, Sarah, you were next. I'm unmuting you, and then Faizan Iqbal is next. I still see only 2 or 3 hands. Please, others should speak as well. Sarah, I think there's some issue with your connectivity. We can't hear you clearly. Um, can you try again? No, unfortunately, your connection connectivity or your audio device is not supporting you, I think you'll have to revert uh, to written communication, or maybe try to reconnect. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to Faizan Iqbal in the meanwhile. Faizan, you're unmuted. Please try and speak.
Assalamualaikum.
Faizan, yes. Hi, Faizan. How are you? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum Assalam. Sir, it was
Yes,
a very
Faizan.
good session. Actually, the retreat session on Saturday, actually, we were able to communicate with each other in a form like constructive arguments were there. And the most important thing was that we all have ideas in our mind, but we lack how constructively we can communicate to the other person. And I think in professional life that is most important thing. So as far as
Mhm.
I consider, the session was, very helpful in that sense that we can communicate constructively, and we can have a solid arguments against any idea, or in a supportive way we can communicate actually. But the one thing was that the participation from candidates was very low. It must be high, I guess, to make it more to make it more effective actually. And
Okay.
lastly, I thank ACCA for wonderful platform, and obviously you, sir, for providing an opportunity, and imparting so much knowledge you have from your experience. So it would be much appreciable. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Faizan. My pleasure. Thanks a lot. Um, okay. Um, One interesting thing I want to mention while doing this is, how do you think were the leaders performing in the session on Saturday? And I'm now referring to Nadia Rahim, and who else was there with Nadia? Nadia, if you're there, can you unmute yourself and take a bow? Nadia, please raise hand so that I can unmute you, and then we go on to Sara Batul. Let me locate Nadia. Here you go. Yes. Nadia, you've been unmuted. What was your experience? Did you prepare yourself, before coming in, leading the session, or was it unprepared? Um, what was your feedback? You've been unmuted from my side. Please unmute and speak.
I was not
Yes, Ali, I
prepared
agree.
at all. Hello, everyone.
Hi, how
I
are you?
was not prepared, and I was a bit wobbly in the start. Like,
Mhm.
I never thought that I would be able to talk like this. Like, I have a I am afraid of stage. Like, I
Oh,
don't
a
know.
stage fright. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
a very bad one. Like, I get overwhelmed. So I was not expecting
Mhm.
for it to go so smoothly, but I believe it was only audio. That's why it did go better than I expected.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
inshallah, let's
No,
in
I
the
think it
coming
was very
step.
professionally managed, and Hijab has just also indicated that she was with you, Nadia. So
Yeah,
both
she
of you, I
was.
think they both put up an excellent show, and without any doubt, you've set the bar high for other leaders to follow. So you know, uh, yes, there are benefits, as we said to you earlier. There are benefits of leading these sessions. Also, there are benefits of being in the spotlight. There are benefits that you will gain by just switching on your camera and realizing that there are hundreds of people who can see you. I mean, right now about 55, but these recordings are available, so people should be able to see you there as well. So remember, these are all opportunities that you must make use of. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, it was a very good
Nadia,
experience.
and I'm also going to unmute Hijab. Any thoughts for the leaders who are going to run the sessions in future also? Any advice for them? Hijab, you've been unmuted as well. You can unmute and speak. Take your turns, maybe.
Hi everyone. It's kind of
Hello.
overwhelming to speak to unmute myself. Like actually, I don't have any confidence issue while speaking, but I have that issue. I can sequence my thoughts like in a proper manner. Every time I try to speak, it's like I'm overwhelmed with so many words and so many thoughts in my head, and kind of uh, face difficulty to speak out and to properly deliver my message. So I found this session kind of like catering my that difficulty and pointing out that I'm pinpointing that issue and I'm trying to improve with the passage of time. And I hope that these sessions will be helpful for me to unwind myself properly and properly deliver my message to everyone else.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. And I'm sure when you're passing on the baton to the next leader, the session, um, I'm sure you will have these feelings in common as well. There'll be others who either
Yeah,
find it frightening to
I'm
unmute and
actually
speak,
feeling really
or otherwise
happy.
putting your thoughts in words, as I was saying.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
actually feeling really happy and like unmuting myself and telling everyone how I'm feeling. Like it's kind of very good feeling. Like I'm unable to put
Yeah.
in the words. UCCI was such an amazing platform to explain myself to everyone, even the outside of the Pakistan. It's not limited to the Pakistan. Even if we have people around the globe, so it's amazing.
friends and colleagues from around the world, exactly. Thank you very much. And these are words of inspiration for people who are going to do this, the unmoderated session. We're going to run the unmoderated sessions next. So thank you very much. And last comment from Sarah, and then we'll switch on or move on to the next topic. Sarah, I hope your microphone works now. I'm going to unmute you, see if you can speak.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. Excellent. Thank you. Great.
Okay.
Yes.
I have two comments to make. First is I just attended one session last week and I was literally overjoyed. Firstly, because when we were doing the exercise of our intro, 30 seconds intro, there and then when you corrected us, I literally found my strengths. I mean, I'm kind of housebound these days because of my kids, but I'm trying to, get back on the career track to getting back on the previous experience too. So it was like, you kind of lose yourself in life, and then it's like, oh my God, yeah, these are my strengths, because my experience is not very identified in a way that I could say that I'm, it's like a 2.5 proper experience. So the difference that I made in those years, I used those as my strengths. Like I figured out what were my strengths. That exercise really helped me. That's my first comment. And secondly, today that you're touching upon goal setting and what are goals, and why do they exist. And trust me, till date, I know I have talent, I know I have determination, I know I have passion, I know I have hard work, but this one problem of what should be my goal, what is my goal, is still what I struggle with. Like I did big things, that as I would call them, study wise, BSc economics, and then ACCA is an amazing journey in itself, but still
Great.
I think it's still something I have to find. So I'm really looking forward to it. So that's my comment there. And lastly, if you could just
Excellent.
please repeat, I could find the recordings because I missed that due to
Right. Okay.
distortion. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
What I said about recordings was that our colleague Feroz, who is in the call, he is compiling a list of all the recordings. Um, I mean, the content and the recordings in front of it, and these are going to be uploaded on Google Docs. So any time of the day or any time, whenever you're available, you can very quickly go to this location where there'll be the resources that we are using to run these sessions. These resources would be available, and the recording links would also be available. So hopefully today, by the end of the call or before the next session rather, we will have those links ready and you will start viewing the recordings. Otherwise, um, Sarah, if you would want me to share the recordings with you through email, recording links with you through email, you can send me one and I'll try and send individual emails, at least in the beginning, till the time our Google Drive
That's
links
great.
are set up. Yeah. So just
Do I
send me
do
an
it
email.
here?
No, no, just
Do
send
I
me an
send
email
it
at
here?
my email. I'll just type
Let me
in
just
my
share.
email address for all of you.
Okay, thank you very much. That'll be great.
Yeah, no problem. So just sent my email address to all of you, and you can approach me or access me. I'll probably um, take a day or so in replying also, because you get loads of emails every day. But Feroz is of course going to help me there. But then um, this is only an interim arrangement, and afterwards all your recording links will be available to you through a Google Drive link, and be available to you whenever you have time and you want to go and view the recordings. um, Umar Hassan is saying, Feroz, we have lots of hopes from you now. So, Feroz, I'm sure you've rolled up your sleeves already and getting ready for it. So, what we're going to do today is, let's now switch over. Faizan, this one last comment by Faizan that I want to read out. He suggested that a more systematic approach towards conducting unmoderated sessions would increase effectiveness. So, Faizan, good idea. But you know what I would say to that? I would say jump in and rather try to do it in a more systematic way next time. Nadia and Hijab, they both said that they came unprepared. They just jumped in and they did a fantastic job. So next time, why don't you come forward and take the charge, but then come with a plan? Okay, so plan before you come, and then I can tell you all in advance, we're going to be discussing goal setting and a detailed goal setting plan on Saturday. So that's what you're going to be doing. Okay, so let's jump straight onto the goal setting process. And before we start our conversation, I want you to go to the chats dialog box, and there's a YouTube link that I have shared with all of you. Just because some people find it difficult, they don't hear if I'm running the video myself, all you have to do is click on this link, watch this recording, and then come back and discuss. So I think this video is about four and a half minutes. Let's take 5 minutes to watch this video about goal setting, and then we'll come back and start our discussion. So all of you, go to the chat dialog box. Chat, can you please all right, I'm going to send that link once again. If people had joined later, they may not see the link. Here it is again. So you go back to the chat dialog box, and you will have the YouTube link there. It's 18:35, 5 minutes to watch this video, which means 18:40 by my watch, or if it is in Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, the time accordingly, 5 minutes from now, we will try to come back and start discussions. Hassan is saying watch it, play it here as well. Let me see if I can do it, but probably because the session is running right now, I may not be able to. So I would suggest mute your mics and try and watch the, sorry, I'm going to mute my mic and try and watch the video. So here goes. Let me see if the link is working.
Monica, I just sent you the email with the client. I get doc now, but I think it's an older version. Can you send an updated? Monica, check your messages when you can. There's something important.
I find that the most common problem when people are setting goals is this. One is they either set too big of a goal, so it feels really people are setting goals.
Okay. Where the questions box go. This is the video that you should be able to see. Maruf, the link should work. I just clicked it and it's working fine. Yeah. So let me play it once again. People, you may be able to hear it, but you will not be able to see the video if I run it like this. I normally have to upload the video and then run it. So I would suggest use the link, put your speakers off, and oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I mean, go and play the link on you. directly from this link that I've shared with you. Okay, so here goes.
Most common problem when people are setting goals is this. One is they either set too big of a goal, so it feels really intimidating when you set a really big goal. If you don't even know where to start. Conversely, people set too small goals and then they hit them and then they feel very complacent as to where they're at. Big goals seem insurmountable, seem very distant to us. So the key is you got to break a bigger goal into smaller pieces or steps. And you keep breaking it down. So here's the big goal, here's the monthly goal, here's the weekly goal, here's the daily goal, here's the minute by minute goal. Now I have a question for you. What is your goal? We have to have very clear goals, clear results. Fuzzy goals, fuzzy results. It could be about your revenue, about your health, about your creativity, about whatever it is. What is your goal? And you need to write that sucker down. It needs to be quantifiable, objective, something that you can measure. You have to assign a deadline to it. There's lots of theories on this. It doesn't matter who you talk to, from Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield. When you know your goal setting, and you write it down using the neuromotor skills that you have, it's almost like magic that it will come true. I think one of the keys to helping you to achieve your goal is to see progress. So when you have a really big goal, you don't know if you're getting anywhere closer. For example, I want to look really good for summer and I need to get a six pack. Now, there are a lot of steps that I have to take in order to be able to achieve that goal. But if I say every day I'm going to cut 200 calories, that makes it a lot easier and a lot more manageable for me to take on. One of the best tools that I've discovered is called scaffolding. An easier way of thinking about scaffolding is the magic stairway. In order for you to get from point A to point B, try breaking the goal down into smaller bite-sized pieces. Here's what I mean. Let's say one of your goals is, I want to grow as an artist. Well, that sounds really lofty, amorphous, and it's hard to get your head wrapped around that. When you think about growth, let's break it down. Well, I want to get better with Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, and Premiere. Let's say those are the 4 things that I need as an artist to become better. Now, each one of those things can be broken into smaller goals yet. How do you get better at Adobe Illustrator? Well, some of the things that you might think of are, I need to learn how to use the pen tool really well. I need to know how to build shapes quickly. I need to know how to draw precisely. Maybe I need to learn about gradients and just best practices in terms of navigation and keyboard shortcuts. Now you see the big goal of, I want to grow as an artist or a designer has been broken down into 4 pieces, and those 4 pieces can then be broken down into even smaller pieces.
If you make enough reasons to follow through and you know what you want, but you make the task overwhelming, you'll be overwhelmed.
Okay, we cannot end this video by talking about goal setting and working towards achieving your goal if you just walk away and do nothing. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick out a goal that you've been setting aside, something that you really want to accomplish, and try to apply the principles in which you've learned today. Now you have a clear plan on how to move forward.
Okay, coming back. All right, lots of distortion once again. Name of the person, use channel name. Mohsen, you'll have to dig it up yourself. I just picked up an interesting video today to share with you. So, okay, I can locate it and share more information with you about it. But for now, what we're going to discuss is okay. What we're going to discuss is what was shared with us in this little video, 4 minutes. So first of all, consider, I would rather take a step back from where this video started. So rather than straight away identifying a goal and then breaking it down, I would want you to ask this question to yourself. Number one, what is this goal? And number two, why do I need to set this as a goal? What do I want to achieve it? So the model used in this case was a scaffolding model. I would suggest that we also look at the OPA model, which is OPA: objective, purpose, and action. So what is the overall objective slash the goal? What is the purpose of doing that? Okay, why do you want to set this as a goal? That's why the question why. And what actions do would you set for yourself? I totally agree with you that you need to break down your actions into daily, weekly, monthly, half yearly, sorry, quarterly, half yearly, and then annually. Um, Yeah, but then at the same time, as the as it was described in the video, that it has to be a quantifiable goal. Remember, SMART, simple, measurable, what actions, right? Realistic and target. So remember SMART goals, and as we always say, we must define our goals in that fashion. But one very interesting comment that was made here was neuromotor skills. So when your goal is fuzzy in your mind, it's not very clear. It is not very, it's not thought out in that much detail. Then it remains a moving target. It remains fluid in your mind. So today it is uh, today the goal is, let's suppose, getting to point A to point B. Tomorrow you say, oh, all right, I think point B is either too easy to achieve or it's too difficult to achieve, so let's move to point C. So therefore it becomes a moving target for you, which is not how it should be. um, your goal has to be very, very specific, smartly determined role, and then um, and then a complete list of purpose and a complete list of actions. And by you know you know at the same time, the deadline by which you would want these actions to be completed, that to be written down. And this document, which we calling the OPA document, and we look at a few models online to see how people write down their goals, etc., and what kind of details do they add in. For each action that adds up to the overall objective or the overall goal, you have to write down in detail what action needs to be taken today. So put a date in front of it. What action needs to be taken in the next 1 week? Again, put a date in front of it. And therefore, the overall date for achieving that objective should, in fact, be broken down through those actions into specific dates by which you will be able to achieve that goal. So yes, thank you, Rida. It was specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. That's exactly what SMART means. So I was referring to the neuromotor skills. So once you've written that piece of that decision down as a goal, and you've worked on it in the detail that, as we've described, that you've worked on the actions, it automatically sticks in there. And once it does, then you start asking yourself this question: how much have I achieved already? How much more do I need to do in order to achieve the overall objective? Okay, and that is automatically, I mean, it says it's a neuromotor skill, it automatically starts sticking in. It starts staying on your radar. It's not that today you've done it, tomorrow you'll forget about it, and the third day you'll set another goal and start working towards it. It stays there and sort of gives you an idea of what you need to do in order to achieve that goal overall. So that was a bit of an introduction. I am once again looking at comments, feedback, learnings, experiences from all of you before I share the OPA model with you, and you will then go back and start take time and start writing down your objectives, purpose, action, and deadlines by which the action is to be achieved. You start writing this down and you start sharing it with us in this session. So let's begin. Any thoughts, any comments so far? I'm looking at hand raises first of all, and then looking at the questions dialog box for for what you think about this. Okay, Uzair has written a comment. I'm sure all of you can see the comment, but at the same time, I'm going to unmute Norez Khalid. Norez is probably speaking for the first time, so let's welcome Norez. And I would want to see a lot of other individuals who's going to speak for the first time. There's 70 in the session right now. I want to see at least about 68 or 69 hands raised. So Norez, over to you. You have been unmuted. Please unmute yourself and speak.
Assalamu alaikum, Harun.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, please go on.
Actually, I want to add a thing in goal setting. I think we should also quantify or prioritize the goal weight. I mean, if we set a goal that has a higher priority in respect to other goals in comparison with other goals, we should actually add a weight metric. Let's call.
Excellent comment. I think this was a very important terminology in goal setting that we had missed out. Thank you very much, Norris, for bringing it up. See, that's the advantage of speaking up or getting feedback from all of you. Prioritize your objectives or prioritize your goals. That's very, very important. What is the utmost important? I mean, should they be prioritized in terms of achievability, or should they be prioritized in terms of importance, or should they be prioritized in terms of the date by which you want to achieve them? So those objectives or those goals which you can achieve in a shorter period of time to be set as a priority, and those that can be achieved over a period of time and needs continuous work and continuous hammering, they could maybe take longer. But there could be multiple approaches. I mean, I can't say this approach is right or that approach is wrong. It totally depends on your circumstances. It totally depends on what you want to achieve. Maybe sometime the long-term objective is so important for you that you should place it on top of your priority list. So I think more than anything else, if we define our priorities in terms of their importance to us, I think that would say it all. What do you say, Norris? Is that a right approach?
Yeah, absolutely correct. You have said it correctly.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Norris, for speaking up.
Thank you so much, Harold. You are doing it rightly. Thank you so much, ACCA, for providing this marvelous platform. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.
Welcome. Thank you. All right, Asad Rafiq once again, and I'm still waiting for more hand raises. There are a couple of people who have written down a few comments, and I'm going to refer to them. But let's hear from Asad in the meanwhile. Asad, over to you. Asad Rafiq. Yes, you can unmute and speak. Oops, wait a second.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So I would like to comment as far as the goal setting is concerned. I would like to replace the word goal with success. And you just mentioned that objective, purpose, and action. So as far as the action concerned, when someone is achieving and in pursuing his goal, ultimately he or she wants to achieve success. So if you want to achieve success, as far as I think, success comes from experience, and experience comes from bad experience. Ultimately, it leads us to the phrase of fail fast.
Okay.
That's
Asad,
all.
I think yes, it's important that you replace. I mean, I don't know if if replacing is the right approach. But if a measure of success for every goal, I mean, what we've said so far is that you should set your goal, it should be an objective available, there should be a purpose available, there should be an action or actions that you want to undertake in order to achieve that goal, that should be available. We've said that there should be a deadline available. But Asad, from the terms that you've introduced, I would say there's a fifth condition, which is a measure of success. When do you think you should start, sort of patting yourself at the back and saying, yes, I have achieved it? Is this a quantifiable? I mean, we said it should be measurable. So, what stage, at what stage do we start calling it a success? So I think the objective or the goal cannot be replaced by the term success, but success as a variable should be added in there. Now, at the same time, when we are setting up ourselves, setting up, a goal or an objective for ourselves, I think it's important that we also plan for failure. Uh, a number of times I've seen that people get demotivated, completely dejected, they give up, and as a result, they don't have any drive left to continue and pick up the pieces and start working from that point onwards, and apply their learnings to still achieve that goal, right? So instead of giving up, instead of completely completely throwing the goal away, and not even considering working on it, yeah, I mean, there has to be that drive left in you to pick up your pieces and to work from there. It's very, very important. Remember, we use the term learn to fail fast, which means
Yes, sir.
don't take very, very long in learning your lessons from a failure, right? Fail fast means convert that failure into learnings and then into success as soon as possible, right? And maybe success is just around the corner, and just by picking up pieces and putting a little bit more effort can take you to the place where you want it to be always. I'll pick up two questions which are almost similar. One is by Alina Seher and the other by Sara Batul. What should be set as our goal? Now, that's interesting. I think one should never shy off from setting up a goal which could have a monetary benefit in the end, which could have a, and remember, if you look at the Maslow's triangle, Maslow came up with this hierarchy of needs, as we call it. So your needs prioritized or put down in a triangular fashion. So the first and foremost are your very, very basic physiological needs. You have to wear clothes, you have to eat, you have to drink, you have to have a shelter, right? A step, and that is where most of the people will fall in that triangle, and therefore the base of the triangle is the widest. As we keep moving up, the number of people, or the desire to achieve to the next level, the number that continues to shrink, and therefore a smaller number of people would continue to move on to the next stage. So I think the next stage was education, feeling of belonging, feeling of being loved. That's the next stage. And the top of the pyramid, by the way, is self-actualization. When you want to start giving back to, yes, Maslow's hierarchy was there. Yes, exactly. That's what I said. Maslow's hierarchy. So at the top, we're talking about giving back. Um, and or the sense of actualization, that is when monetary benefits or monetary goals or targets would not excite you, will not entice you, will not feel like setting your goals which would have monetary benefits in the end. But there comes a time when you would want those converted into giving back to the society, helping others to achieve their goals, with your support and with your help. So to answer the question that Alina and Sarah had asked, your goals, in different phases of your life would vary, would differ. And that's also related with the amount of risk you can or you are willing to take in order to achieve your goals. So again, psychologically proven that your at younger age, your appetite for risk is higher, is bigger, and therefore you would not shy of taking a risk. Yeah. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that if, let's suppose, you want to change your career altogether, or where you want to change your career from a particular domain of accounting and finance to another within accounting and finance, that your appetite for doing that at an earlier stage will be bigger. But at a later stage, your risk appetite will continue to diminish. And therefore, excuse me, therefore, the goals that you would set for yourself at different phases of your life would also differ. And that is why it is important that if that if you have made up your mind, that there is a determination that you must achieve um, achieve something in your life, achieve X, for example, as a variable in your life, and you set yourself a 5-year target, that remains as your goal and does not change with your risk appetite changing or with your circumstances changing every day. Okay, so that is what that's what is important for you to understand when you're setting your goal. Now, um, uh, your goal could be a personal achievement. Your goal could be earning a specific um, amount of money at a time. Getting yourself a certain um, uh, a certain facility in life. It could even be getting married. It could even be completing another qualification. It could even be remaining physically fit, or maybe setting up an organization, setting up an NGO, helping people in need, etc. So it could be multiple. Yeah, traveling with a friend, it could be a very short term, near term achievable kind of a goal. But if, let's say, traveling with friends to, I mean, taking them for a world tour could be a slightly bigger target. So you remember the video that we'd shown. So how complex your goal is. Is it so complex that it sort of gives you sleepless nights, or is it so easily achievable that you don't feel that contentment or that feeling of happiness having achieved the goal? So that is what would make a difference. I'm going to come back to both of you, in fact, and ask you what could be some some examples of goals for you, right? So your individual goals, as long as you want to share them. So let's look at what others have also written. I'll very quickly pick up a few points here. um, Zahra is saying, I have already achieved one of my big career goals, Alhamdulillah. So I'm hoping to take a short break before I grab onto another one. Okay. Does life allow you to take breaks? Question mark. I don't think so. Um, even a recreational break could be one of the goals. And then, if it means that you have to unwind yourself, you have to muster up more energy and courage, that in itself is a goal, right? Just laying low for a bit may not be as helpful. So you'll have to have some objective in mind, even if you're taking a short break. Rida, hierarchy of needs, exactly, that's what we're talking about. Okay, Ayush saying, also better to have your goals in a place where you can remind it continuously. Say in front of your bed where you see where you see it as at the end, at the end of every day and beginning of the next day. You should live with it and dream on achieving it. Exactly. I should particularly. I mean, you're spot on. Um, the purpose of using a document, an OPA document, put everything there in it, actions in it, dates in it, and the purpose is to continuously track your progress towards achieving that goal. Again, referring to the video that we saw, break it down. I mean, the person took an example of learning Adobe, and breaking that down into smaller fragments or smaller steps, or smaller chunks. Use the term bite-sized chunks. So that's exactly what you're referring to. But then continuously have a map or a diagram or a way of getting to that ultimate goal in front of you always. Rida is saying age and responsibility matters as well. Exactly. If I would talk about myself, about 20 years ago, my goals were completely different. They would be of a different nature. Now, I'm at a stage of life where my goals have changed. The type of the goals that I have set for myself, they've changed. Um, you know, next 1 year, next 5 years, 10 years, I would have different objectives in life. So, for example, at this stage, my utmost priority is that my kids should be able to complete their qualification, complete their education, and get a direction at least of what they're going to do in life. 20 or 25 years ago, I may be thinking about this for my own self, right? So that's how I was giving you an example. That's how things change. um, okay. Shamlin is saying, I think we face goal setting hard because we picture it big. Also, working women with family responsibility, passion, and work is questioned. Exactly. So, like I was saying, Shamlin, circumstances, your responsibilities, the phase of life that you're in, right? That also defines what kind of goals would you set for yourself, right? Again, never shy away from setting goals which would have a monetary meaning for you. Okay, never shy away. People always, because of the fear of putting a money value to their goals, um, and then being able to describe it to others. People might come back and for the reason why people might come back and say, oh, you're a very money minded person. People try to avoid uh, that element of your goal. But I think it is essential, it's extremely important. If, let's suppose, for a particular goal you need to have certain amount of money without which the goal cannot be achieved, so put that amount of money there, right? In fact, that uh, achieving that goal could then become a secondary goal. The primary goal could become earning that amount of money or arranging that amount of money. So, for example, Rida was saying, I think it was Rida was saying, traveling with friends. So if that is set as a goal, you need to have a certain amount of money to undertake that travel, and therefore a primary goal in that case would become to arrange or to earn that money, right? And then as a secondary goal, going around the world, enjoying yourself. So that's what we were referring to. Hamza Tahir said, I had three goals completing. Oh, once again, sorry, Muzaffar. I'm referring to hand raises. There are too many comments and there are too many long comments being written. I would want all of you, all those who've written a comment. So I'm just asking Amara Sabur, um, Hamza Tahir, Mohsen Siddiqui, Hasnan Mahmood, Rida, and Norez has already spoken. So I want all of you to please raise your hands, and I'm going to unmute you one by one. I want to hear your voice. Okay. So Muzaffar, first of all, you going on. So unmute it. Yes. Yes, Muzaffar, can you hear us?
Audible.
Thank you, Zafar. Yeah, I just heard you. Come again?
Okay, just I would like to share my thought about goal setting. That was a
Sure.
wonderful video that has been played few minutes ago. And I have gone through this type of goal setting process in the past, and this tracking, uh, all those of the things. But what I find difficult, that is in setting goal, is to make it balanced. Uh, I have personally divided the goal of my life for a different sphere of life. But what I mean, when I look around, I find many successful people in their particular area of life. For example, someone is successful in their profession, but sometimes we found them unsuccessful in their family life. And on the other hand, or vice versa, someone is successful in family life but not successful in their professional life. And my question is, and sometime even I heard that many persons saying that chasing the goal for achieving professional success ruin his family life. And in that case, how we could set a balanced goal so that we need not to be disappointed at the end. From myself, I have goal in different sphere of life. Like professionally, I have some goal regarding my profession, my family, health, and at the same time, I have some goal regarding spiritual things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How we can
Okay.
pursue all of them at a time? Run
Okay,
for
I think that's a wonderful question. So a very good observation also. So people have to come up with balanced goals. They have to they have to manage work and life at the same time, right? So there has to be a balance, between both. And Ayush just mentioned prioritize, but that's exactly what happens when, let's say, you prioritize, give a lot of priority to your work and less to your life. As a result, you will see one part of yourself successful and another part of yourself not so successful. So there has to be, exactly, you said it right now, a balance in both. So um, I mean, there is no harm, Muzaffar, in setting multiple goals for yourself. I would say, if I've set up set a goal for myself, which impacts my work life, I would also want to set a goal for myself to, number one, stay healthy, maybe, and number two, to give enough time back to my family and help them in their objectives also, because after all, their goals and lives are attached to mine, and therefore have a balance completely, and completely being lopsided, completely only thinking about your work and not about your life, or just about your life and not about your work, can take you in a very different direction. Okay, so again, going back to the question that I think Alina and Sarah were asking, how, what to set as a goal. Again, this is a perfect example of, what your goal could be like. If it is work related, what could it be? If it is family related, what could that be? Okay, so I think that's a wonderful example, and I would want to hear more from some of the participants, and what do they think about having a balance, of what could define a balance of goals in life. In the meanwhile, let's hear from Irfan Ali, but I haven't seen those hand raises so far. Come on, guys. Amara, Mohsen, Hussein Mahmood, Rida, I would want to see all your hands raised, please. So going on to Irfan Ali first. Irfan, yes, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself and speak.
Hi, this is Irfan. Today I am watching a video, famous business tycoon Jack Ma. he has divided his life into phases and assigned targets. And
Okay.
similarly, couple of days back, I have heard Pakistan cricket team's captain Babar Azam's video, where he
Hmm.
described his whole life, how he started his cricket career from ball picker to become Pakistan team's leading captain, how he
Hmm.
achieved, and in the end, he told about his career and efforts. He told that he has always divide your life into small goals. Try
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
achieve those by sincere efforts. Uh,
Right.
uh, he mentioned that once South African team was here in Pakistan, and he was there to support them or to help out them. So
Hmm.
he used to see their fielding efforts. So there are so
Hmm.
many practical examples in life, if you see in business
True.
world or in sports or other walks of life. There are so many examples how people divide their life and set small goals and achieve bigger goals eventually. That's it.
Hmm. Thank you very much. Thank you for bringing that up, and for interest of our friends from Bangladesh. And Bangladesh right now is playing the cricket team in of Pakistan, and of course, rain disrupted the play. But you know about Babar Azam, Irfan just mentioned. I mean, a few years ago only, he caught. I mean, he was a ball boy, and he caught a six, which was hit by a batsman. And I think that's when the camera moved on to him, and they pinpointed an individual who's taken a wonderful catch. Little did we know that a few years down the road, this individual will become the captain of the Pakistan cricket team. So interesting to learn, how people, had set those goals, had achieved those goals. If you to see successful people and look at or read about their lives and how they set, themselves a, small little goals and continue to achieve. Again, endorsing, what we'd earlier seen in the video, bite-sized, break down your goal into bite-sized pieces and then start moving or inching towards it. And for every step that you take, there has to be, a plan, an action, that would support you in achieving your goal. Thank you very much, Irfan. Very, very interesting analogy that you brought in. Let me go to Sarah Batul first, and then Kamran Hussain very quickly. Um, let's see what Sarah has to say. Oops. Sarah, your internet connectivity is gone once again. I think you'll have to go back and come in. Unfortunately, I think there's something wrong with your connectivity. Okay, Kamran Hussain, let's talk to you, and then Hasnan Mahmood is next. Kamran, I have unmuted you.
Hello everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Okay.
Yes, Kamran.
So to the previous comment, I would say that we need a balance between professional and like the personal life. A work-life balance should be there. And also, I want to add the flexibility. Like we set a goal that is very clear, that has objective, that has deadline, so that is achievable. But the circumstances change after some time. For example, the 3 months, 6 months, a year. For example, COVID breakout in 2019. So like we should add flexibility. If things change, how should we react? Like, what's your opinion on this? I would like to have your comment on flexibility.
Okay, okay. Kamran, I would rather not, make my goal flexible to the extent that, if circumstances change, I may find an excuse for myself for not achieving the goal. I would rather say come up with a contingency plan. So if things go wrong along the way, you should have another plan devised to achieve this same goal. I mean, these goals should be so important for you that not achieving them would mean, leaving an important element in your life incomplete, which should not be the case. So I think flexibility may not be a right term. Contingency planning, or like we're saying, planning for failure, that should be made a part. Okay, so but then nevertheless, an important point that you brought up. Um, how
Thank you very
can
much.
you plan for a failure? How can you how can you have a very, very effective contingency plan in place as well? That's something that I think we will also try to exercise when we are doing our OPA planning. And in a little bit, I'm going to come up and construct a worksheet for you, and all of you are going to do the same. You're going to open up Microsoft Excel in your computers, and you're going to start writing down your goals, and then we see some examples of what goals are like. Okay, so Hasnan, and then let's see Sarah if she can yeah, she can come back. Yes, Hasnan, I've unmuted you. Hasnan Mahmood, you've been unmuted. Please unmute from your end and speak. Yes, I can see your microphone going green. Hasnan, are you speaking? Because we can't hear you. Okay, Hasnan, I think something wrong with your microphone. Can you please go back and check your mic connectivity and then come back in? I'm still leaving the microphone control available. We will move on to Mohsin Siddiqui. Mohsin, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Walaikum assalam. Yes, Mohsin.
Sir, let me start from the importance of the goal. Why goal is important? It is as important as the direction. Direction is very essential part. If an individual do not have the right direction to that, he may or he may not. If he may reach to that position, but this may take a large amount of time and a large amount of energy and a large amount of resources. And most probably at time of reaching at that objective, he may not be able to get the greater benefit of that objective at that time. So for that reason, at time of deciding your goal, one must keep in mind his or her objective. So where the time frame will also become and the resources should also become. Most of the time what tend to happen is everyone has goal, but we do not have the resources. So the first goal should be is to have those resources or to have connection to those resources, identify them, benchmark them, try to get something from them. And I think it is good to have a greater benchmark, because if you have something which is larger than you, so you may get something from that thing. This is what my point is for goal setting. And what tend to happen, like, there is a problem also at time of goal setting. When the goal is completely set, alhamdulillah, the problem tend to arise at the time of execution. So here is my question also, which I ask you. Let's suppose I have broken down my sub goals. Both sub goals are important, and I'm at the execution phase. What if all both of these sub goals, which are equally important, at the time of the stage they came to the conflict? How one should choose? Because one cannot choose all the things, one has to choose, but both are important and both are essential within the time frame also. How can I choose that? So is there anything to make a difference between these two?
Yeah, so Mohsin, I think when we're talking about prioritizing your goals, I think if you would want to go around asking people, what do you think should be my priority, you will stop chasing your own goal. I think the priority also has to be set by yourself rather than anybody else. So I think it's extremely important that if there are two very, very important goals in life and none of them can be compromised on, and you can't ignore one at the cost of another, then you have to set aside time to achieve both, right? Then you have to set realistic deadlines to achieve both, right? And you cannot, like I was saying earlier, you cannot set one goal at the cost of another. Okay. If let's suppose one goal would have taken you, let's say, about 6 months to achieve, and the other goal would have taken you another 6 months. So rather than having them one after the other. If it is so important for you to achieve them both at the same time, maybe set yourself a target for 8 months rather than 6, right? So instead of 6 months first, followed by another 6 months, which would have taken you a year, you would set yourself a slightly longer target of 8 months to achieve both goals. Okay, and see what elements of both these goals would complement each other. If they do, that is additional help that you can get. Okay. Great, thank you very much. We will listen to more people, but at the same time, what we're going to do is, if you have your computers in front of you, please open up a blank worksheet, and please don't look at my work. These were the survey results that I'd shared with you. So serial number, just create this worksheet very, very quickly. It's a very simple worksheet. Um, objectives, okay, and they can be multiple, right? The next one is purpose, and purpose is asking yourself, why am I doing this? Okay, objectives is, what am I going to do? And then we will park actions. Actions in a way is talking about how is it to be done, and then is the deadline. Okay, and by deadline we mean when, or by when do we have to achieve this. Okay, and last but not the least, we could also add a priority to it. Okay, so that is a slightly more elaborate OPA model, which stands for objectives, purpose, and actions. I'm sorry, I should have written this in all caps. Let me very quickly do it. Um, and here we go. Okay, so this is an OPA plan that we're going to work on. Serial number 1, objective in life is, for example, establish, and this has to be specific. Remember, we talked about SMART goals. Establish a business of a restaurant. Okay, um, and and achieve break even. So I think that could be an example of my objective. The purpose is a sustainable, sustainable business to own, right? This could be my purpose of setting this. I have I mean, when I'm saying achieving break even, in a way, I am saying that the costs should meet the revenue should meet all the costs. Um, in very nice terms, could be a basic objective. Actions could be, um, okay, actions could be about location, identify a location, uh, then look at a niche market. Number 3 could be prepare a feasibility. Number 4 could be sourcing or franchising. Consider that as an option. And number 5 could be arrange, sorry, I'll just write financing. Yeah. And I could have, in fact, better that I put these down in separate boxes. And put a deadline against this, against each, and I could merge these, and I could merge these. So this is just turning into one objective. Merge, and the deadline for each actions can be written separately. So for example, end of December, I would say 31st December 2021, I must have identified a location, look at a niche market, as in what am I going to target? Am I going to target fine dining? People who can really afford expensive food, is it going to be that, or am I going to do fast food, or uh, is it something like that, or uh, is it snacking, or is it lunch, or should it be dinner and breakfast? Should all be served? So all those things. So I give myself another 2 months for identifying the niche. So for example, 28th February 2022, I should be able to do this. I should have the feasibility, the cost, etc., everything ready by the 31st of March 2021. Sourcing or franchising decision, if it requires entering an agreement, once I have identified, identified the niche market, identified the location, feasibility, etc. I should spend 2 months. So May, so 30th May 2021, 2022 should be feasibility, should also be 22. Yeah. So, while I'm doing this, you should also think about, think about your goals and your plans. So, and last but not the least, by 30th June, let's say, I have to arrange the funding as well. Just giving you an example of how an OPA sheet should look like. And at the same time, I can have multiple I can have multiple objectives running in parallel. So rather than just having one objective in place, one can easily start working on another objective and then another one, and then prioritize. Should you have as many goals and objectives listed down, or should it be just a few? So I don't think there's anything wrong in continuing to populate this, right? Just be very, very mindful of the dates that you're putting in. Okay, they should not conflict, they should not clash each other. If you're setting aside time for this particular activity, and if it is full time, if it's a full-time job that you have to do, look at a niche market, for example, or identify a location, then it should not be overlapping with another activity. And then mark a priority. So for me, let's suppose this could be my priority number 2, and this is Roman 2, but something to do with my health. For example, 40-day, complete a 40-day fitness challenge. Could be my priority 1. Yeah, not 2, 1. And could have a third priority, therefore. So this is something that I would want all of you to start working on, and then um, we will discuss this as you've written your goals down. We will start discussing these. We have about half an hour left for this particular exercise. I'm going to come back to comments. Everybody, in the meanwhile, start preparing your OPA model, and we will then start sharing it with each other. Others should also be. I mean, when somebody is presenting, others should have all the right questions to ask. So whenever you are asking, whenever somebody is presenting, immediately start thinking about what is the objective, why is it there, so what, so what if you want to have a restaurant, why is it a restaurant, why is it not a pharmaceutical outlet or a retail outlet or a pharmaceutical company, why is it not a mobile phone assembly unit, why is it not something else, why is it this, so what. And the last but not the least, the last question you can ask the presenter would be, was there another option available? Okay, so if somebody says, I want to think about a restaurant which offers breakfast only in the morning, so a question can be, what else could have been an option to work towards. So this is going to be an interesting activity. In the meanwhile, I'm going to read some comments and then come back and ask you people the question of what have you written so far. Okay, so let's see. We have Alina, Sahar, and Maruf. Both have raised their hands, so let's listen to them. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to read some comments as well. For a very short time, I saw some hands raised, but so for example, Amara probably raised a hand and then lowered it. I would encourage everyone to, to speak if they have to. Alina, I'm going to unmute you. Please ask your question. Unfortunately, the same issue again. Alina, if you could check your internet connectivity, your voice is breaking up. Alina, I'm sorry, we can't hear you. Can you please reconnect and try again? That might help. No, unfortunately not. No. Apologies for that. Maruf, I'm going to unmute you. Alina, we'll love to have you back if you can reconnect. Yes, Maruf. Maruf, what do you want to copy? Do you want? Yes, Maruf. What were you saying? Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
Do you want to get this? Maruf, we can hear you. Do you want to copy this sheet? Should I provide it to you as a handout, or would you want to do it from scratch yourself?
I tried to copy the WhatsApp group link and another video link, but it is not working. We cannot copy the link there. It is fixed. There is no option to copy there from mobile.
Okay, trying to copy the link and using web browser to access the QR code. Feroz, have you created the group? Feroz, if you can come off mute and share the answer here. I'm not sure if there's something happening in the background.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hello.
I've created the WhatsApp groups and I've shared the links. I'll share the handout for the QR code in the coming up webinar, and I'll also try to email the QR code to the participants. Once the webinar has started, I cannot add another handout, so that's why I pasted the joining link. So it will be taken care of after the session.
You know what I suggest, Feroz? If you can have the joining QR code up on the screen, I'll stop sharing my screen. You can share yours if you have the desktop application available on your laptop.
Yes.
You can present it from there. People just have to pick up the phone and scan it. Okay, that will be easier rather than clicking the link and trying to then take it back to their mobile phones.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I'm gonna share my screen now.
Okay, go ahead. So I should stop sharing and you get that.
Hello.
Yes, Maruf.
Yes, sir. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me opportunity to talk to everybody. And hello.
Most welcome.
Hello.
Yes, most welcome. Maruf, we can hear
Hello.
you.
Yes. Actually, I want to, yeah, I want to discuss about my career goal. I have been working for about 11 more than 11 years in capital market intermediary. It is an asset management company and another is a merchant bank. But it is I was the last company I was in the head of the accounts and finance department and also compliance officer, head of compliance. And present company in my present company I was in same position, but there is no career progression, but because this type of company is small. So I like to I like to change my company or industry. So what I have to do now, because there is no opportunity to go another industry because I have no experience there. When any circular is published, they always prefer to have some experience in that industry. As there is no opportunity in industry, because I am head of the finance accounts department, also the head of the compliance, but there is no uh, benefits to gain every year. There are many friends. They are working in large group of companies and they are taking more than 700,000, 7 lakhs, you know. But I am not getting as much as my friend. So I'm so much in a position to change my industry. So what I have to do now? I prefer to work in a business analysis, risk management. So there is no opportunity, very much opportunity in my country, this type of jobs. So what things to do now?
So, yeah, Maruf, if you take that, from the perspective of setting a goal for yourself and breaking it down into smaller fragments and then trying to switch your line from your current sector to another. First of all, my broader goal will be that I will have to identify a sector which, allows or which warrants a better payoff than the one that I am in. And the common principles of economics should apply there. So, for example, if it's a sector which has an inelastic demand, so I can tell you health always will have an inelastic demand. Education, clothing, food, these are the sectors or of fast moving consumer goods. These are sectors which have an inelastic demand, and therefore the people working in these sectors will always be working for companies which are cash rich, and therefore they're able to pay the employees better. Secondly, I would also want to read about my current my country's economics. So, for example, if it's an export-led organization, I would feel that that organization may give better emoluments than others. So I'll have to, in a way, do my spade work first. Okay, then if let's just suppose as an example that I've concluded that textile is Bangladesh's biggest export and therefore the fastest moving sector in Bangladesh. So I have to I have to look for which are the best organizations in the textile sector. Who are the biggest importers in textile in Bangladesh at the moment? So, for example, and then number three, I'll have to see what additional skills do I need to gain, which will be specific to the textile sector. So, for example, it could be procurement of cotton, it could be yarn, it could be the gray cloth, it could be printing, dyeing, understanding a complete commercial model of a textile organization, and then, you know, portraying that or presenting that as your strength to this organization that you want to get into. Okay, so again, what I'm utilizing here is number one, my objective setting model. So I'll set myself an objective, I'll break it down into smaller chunks, I'll set targets. Number two, I'll develop strengths, you know, which will help me gain that job. And then once those strengths start reflecting in your introduction and your description of strengths, that is when you're ready to take that plunge. However, having said that, I mean, there is a tag that you already have of working in an irrelevant sector at the moment, for example. So for you know, to counter that, you may have to take a step down from, let's say, the head of finances position, but then into another sector which is a faster moving sector, and therefore very quickly recouping, you know, the lost ground, recovering the lost ground, and then continuing to grow faster than you would in the other sector. So that would sound like an end-to-end plan of how would you want to make that switch. But like I said, if it is a switch that needs to be made, you should start working on it now rather than later. As you continue to grow further, right, the void between both sectors will continue to grow further, and therefore at one point it make it in fact impossible for you to make that switch. Okay, so that would be my action plan based on what we've studied or what we've seen so far. At the same time, I think going further, we will also be looking at business models, what other business models one should look at, and therefore consider those as an option as well. Yes, Maruf.
Yes, thank you. But as I am working, so there is needed so much time to learn new things, and also I need to get involved in new things and get opportunity. So if there is an opportunity, then it will be okay. But it is hard to get an opportunity to engage in a new group of companies or big companies, because either I have to leave my present job, or it is impossible at this time. But I
And
like to switch.
and Maruf,
Yes.
this is exactly why we said you have to prioritize. I would never recommend that you should quit a job to start searching for another. Try to start searching for a job while you're at a job. Although it's going a little, it's deviating a little from our subject. I'm sure others are looking at, you know, their business model and their objectives. But just to answer this question, and then we'll probably take that conversation offline. But never give up your job to start searching for another. Okay, start preparing slowly. How many hours do you have in a day, right? If you can't take out time from the 8 hours that you've committed to your current organization, and I would say it would be dishonesty if you start searching for a job while, you know, while you're at the job, or you know, while you're being paid by this organization to do the job. I would say take time out from your personal life, right? Spend that time. I mean, look at weekends, look at evenings, and try to work on, you know, on yourself, or make room for yourself there. Okay, of course you're doing that for a bigger cause, and therefore that should become your priority for the time being, and then that should remain priority for a certain amount of time till the time you've achieved your objective, and then you can come back and sort of shuffle your life once again and start maintaining a balance between your personal life and your work life. Okay, I hope that answers your question, right?
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Most welcome. Most welcome. I hope all of you have joined the S3 FM group. S3 is season 3. FM is future members. So I wanted to give this priority to all the regular attendees. I mean, there are in fact about 600 future members who started off, who registered themselves. I am going to circulate this email to all others after I have made sure that all those who regularly attend the session, they have joined in. Okay, and that's why I had asked Feroz to give the opportunity to the attendees, the live attendees first, and then to others. It could be a situation in which we'll fill up the group very quickly, and we will not have any more space. So I don't want anyone who's attending the session live to stay out of the group then. So please make sure that you've joined. Feroz joined this group. Feroz will leave it on the screen till the end of the session, and I think don't miss this opportunity. Okay. All right. Great. Let's now look at Alina. Have you been able to fix your problem? And if yes, let me try and unmute you. See if you can share your thoughts, and then we'll go back to objectives of what people have started writing. Yes,
Hello, can
Alina.
you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Great. Yes, please go on.
Okay. One of the things I really struggle with is goal setting, and there are a lot of factors to that. Like
Right.
now we have seen a video that you should not put up a goal that is very big and overwhelming, but then sometimes you put up a goal that is not even exciting you at the same time. So
Yes.
I so how do you balance that? Like the goal is exciting you and pushing you towards work to work towards it, and at the same time it's not overwhelming enough that you just take a step back. Secondly,
True.
I
True.
as a person struggle with patience a lot. Like I am that sort of a person. So when you are used of achieving everything very quick in your life, and then you enter the practical life and you know that a process change or anything you want to contribute is gonna take time, but you are really not that person who is used to of sitting around and letting things work out and be patient about, like you just feel agitated कि नहीं ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा या ये अभी हो जाए बस. So even when the people are suggesting कि have a meeting tomorrow, you just want it to happen like this day. So I really struggle with that part. So I just want your comments and advice on that.
Yeah. Alina, I think let me address the later part of your question first. I think it's a blessing that you are so ambitious and you're so eager that you don't want you don't want to wait even for a day to see success, or at least you inching towards success. I think this is a very big blessing. The opposite of that would be complacency, which is a big curse, I must say. Organizations hate people who are complacent, who would not want their circumstances to change, who would not want their work to improve, who would not innovate on their work. So feel that you have this strength of being focused, of being agile. I mean, I would not want to call it impatience. I would want to call it agility, right? So the right term for that would be agility versus complacency. Okay, so I mean, imagine you're on the better side of things. Number two, I'm sorry if you can repeat the first part of your question also. So I got to sort of
Okay, first of all, thanks for putting it in a very, very positive way. Uh, the first part was like setting up a goal that is not overwhelming,
overwhelming. Yeah.
but at the same time, it is exciting enough.
Right, right, right.
So,
So, and that's exactly why we say that uh, the goal has to be achievable. We didn't say overly achievable. We didn't say unachievable, right? So once again, you have to look at your circumstances, your abilities, your strengths, and your opportunities. I would not call them threats or weaknesses. I would want to call them opportunities. for yourself. Try and estimate those and then set a goal for yourself. Of course, you're the best person to tell, if you're excited by this course. So for example, if you'd ask me today, uh, if I have to learn guitar, right, and I really, really want to do it, I mean, automatically I'll feel encouragement, I feel motivation from within myself to do it. But if I don't want to go in that direction at all, if you're not thinking about listening to music or playing music, as a source of motivation, as a source of as a strength in me, I would be least concerned about how to play a guitar or how to play a piano. I would rather be thinking about how to learn a new software or a new skill or a new a new approach to work, or another innovative idea. I'd rather work on that. Okay, so that's exactly depends upon where are you coming from. Remember, in the first day we described the human brain as the logical part, as one part being logical, the other being creative. And then I said that different people lie in different zones of this brain. So people who rely on the creative part more would probably feel encouraged or motivated, if I tell them, all right, now you have to learn another musical instrument, learn to play another musical instrument. In fact, on the contrary, people with a more logical approach will start maybe thinking about, why do I have to learn another instrument? I might learn another way of solving a complex mathematical problem. So this varies from person to person, and you're the best judge to decide for yourself what should be the. I mean, always take a step back. I would even go to the extent saying never in the first instance start discussing your goals and ambitions without having put them down on a piece of paper with your friends or with other people. I mean, it should be you first. So I would say take a step back, lock yourself in your room for a little bit, set your thoughts straight, yeah, and then start writing down your goals. I mean, if you're being influenced by externalities a lot, if you're being influenced by, what if my father says, oh, your cousin has done very well, you should follow footsteps, I would unnecessarily start following the goal that somebody else had set for themselves rather than my goal that I would set for myself. Okay, but of course, once you've set your goals, there is no harm in going back to your family, your friends, finding justification, reason, explaining to them why do you want to achieve this as a goal, discussing it with them. Okay, so that is what will bring about some correction in your thought process. Okay, it's always a good idea to have a consultation with people at that time. Okay, so I hope that answers your question at least to a bit, but of course
Yes.
we can go on further and having a discussion on this.
Thank you so much.
um Most welcome. Let's hear from Faizan Iqbal. And Faizan, really, really desperate to hear some ideas about about business. Sorry, about your objectives and goals. So do share some with us. Faizan, I have unmuted you, so please unmute yourself and share your thoughts. Faizan Iqbal. Faizan, you are unmuted. I'm checking again. Yes, you are unmuted.
Yeah. So, am I
Yes, we can hear
audible?
you loud and clear. Please
So
go on.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for discussing such an important topic, goal setting. Actually, I want your advice on a situation from which I am suffering. Actually, sir, I can set the short-term objectives, and I put my commitment for achieving those objectives. But the thing from which I'm struggling is that I cannot set the longer-term goal. I mean, if I decide that I have to complete my ACCA within a minimum time, or I want a position in Big Four, I can put my hours with full of commitments and I achieve them, Alhamdulillah. But I'm struggling for a longer term goal. So I want your advice that how I can set my longer term goal, because I think that would increase my efficiency in achieving the longer term as well as short term goals. So my concern is that I want your comment. Thank you so much.
Okay, Faizan, thank you very much. I was really thinking that you would share some of the plans with us, but never mind. I think the skill that you're referring to is called extrapolation, and accountants are best at that. So, what do we have today? What would it be tomorrow? Would it be a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now? So, if you can start to extrapolate your objectives and goals, so your short-term goals meeting up to a long-term goal, or the other term is reverse engineering. Think of the long-term goal, break it down into smaller chunks, right, and bring it down to your current situation. Okay, so the two ways: reverse engineering or extrapolation. Think about both these, and then set yourself a goal. I mean, of course, if your OPA sheet is a collection of all very short term goals, some achievable, some difficult to achieve, I think you are being you're being a victim of not thinking long term, or not getting yourself the advantage of long term thinking, yeah, or long term planning. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
Got it.
I suggest, like I said, take some time out, sit down, start jotting down your thoughts. I would fill up about 10 different sheets, before I would start to narrow it down to specific goals, and you know, and specific activities in the goals. I would fill about 10 different sheets. I would not want to say, all right, I've thought about it. Now I'm going to put it down and here it is. Okay. I would not want to be that hasty about, my goal setting process. Of course, these are very important moments for us, important thoughts for us. So let's take those decisions wisely. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome. Ruchini Pereira is asking how to change our mindset to stick to achieving goals. Any advice? All right, who would want to comment on that? I think that's a very good question. How to change our mindset to stick to achieving goals? I mean, there was one answer that probably Sarah or somebody else. I'm sorry, I'm bad with remembering names, but somebody else said, put that up in front of you. I think it was Aish who said, put that in front of you in your bedroom or where you sit, so that you keep looking at it, so keep focused. Yeah. And once you've broken down your long-term goal into what do you need to achieve today or by the end of the week, I think before you go to bed every day, you should think, you should visualize, have you done what you were supposed to do today? If you have, all right, there you go. Next step, my weekly target. Next step, my monthly, 6 monthly, and the annual target. So, if you've started measuring success, on very short term basis, or you've broken down success into short term, automatically you'll get into the momentum, you'll get into the rhythm. And once you get into the rhythm, automatically it becomes priority for you as well. Okay. So that's what the solution in my viewpoint is. Yes, Norez wants to say something. Norez, I'm so sorry, I saw your hand raised. Unmuted, please speak. Yes, Imam, that's what I
Actually,
also.
referring to the Excel sheet, I think we should add two more columns. First one is the status. Is it our goal, our objective on track? Is it behind? And also
Excellent.
another column for percentage of completion. Referring to the previous comment, if we just regularly update it, our status or add the percentage in the relevant section, it can motivate us. If we are on track, it will motivate us to complete on before the deadline or on a timely basis.
Brilliant, brilliant. I think very relevant points. Norris, thank you so very much. I'm glad I unmuted you. This is precisely how you keep track of your progress as well. So whether you keep track of it in your mind only, or you want to put it down on a piece of paper on your OPA sheet every with the fixed frequency, that's entirely upon you. If you've broken it down to daily, so think about taking that piece of paper out of your desk before you go to sleep. See what progress have you made. Have you done what you're required to do, record it there, okay, and then move on. Or if you've done it monthly, sit down in front of that sheet and track your progress on a monthly basis. Okay, very right, excellent. uh, okay, great. So I think we stop here. We've taken the time for the job today. um, the topic is not over. We're going to continue to work. I mean, we've already discussed everything, but we started to put thoughts, on this document that we've created. So start putting your thoughts in there. Next time, we're going to look at what you have written. We're going to criticize, analyze, ask yourself questions, ask you questions, and then go to refine, let's say, one or two or three OPA documents, and others can take leads examples from it. Now, I have seen, switching to the topic to the conversation in the WhatsApp group. I would appreciate a few things at this stage in this group, and this will ensure that we act very, very professionally when we are talking about communicating with each other. Number one, no religious comments to be made, right? Please, no religious, no political comments to be made at all. And if I see something like that happening, I'll have to probably put everyone to mute and I'll ask Firoz to take the control where admin does the posts only. I would not want to do that, but this is very serious, and therefore we should set the guidelines. And number two, there is time when people go to sleep. So I'll appreciate if the time for activity in the group could be 8 a.m. in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, till 11 o'clock at night. I think that's sufficient time for you to share your thoughts. But please, after 11 o'clock, I would appreciate if you don't, post stuff in the group, so for people to rest as well. Um, let's Yes, 11 o'clock Pakistan time, which would mean 10 o'clock Bangladesh or 10:30 Sri Lanka. So then the next thing would be that keep the discussion focused to what is being discussed in the 6 digits program at the moment. So, for example, our topic for today was goal setting. If you hear something good, if you see a good video on goal setting, please share that in the group. Me and Firoz and Sajid will probably join us in the next session too. Today he was not feeling well, otherwise he would have conducted the session for you. So we will post administrative stuff. We will post directions, guidance. What do you need to do next? Any changes in schedule, operational details. So we will do that in this group. So let's keep the group very, very purpose driven, very focused. And once the 6 digit session is over, then we'll start posting success stories in this group. Okay. So, having learned what you've learned, or having put your learnings to work, if you see success, if you achieve success, then automatically this forum is going to be, a networking forum for you, where you're going to share your successes, share your pleasures, and share your successes with all of us. All right, I think yes, Asad, I will put the guidelines in the group, and I'll welcome formally everyone in the group as well. Thank you so very much for joining in. I hope it was a good learning experience. I hope the conversation was extremely good. I never got to know that we've been talking for 2 hours. I think it was fantastic, having had this conversation. Please do share your feedback in the WhatsApp group on how did you like today's session? What did you learn from it? I mean, some of you made excellent contributions to what we were discussing. So please keep that conversation flowing, and I hope you'll enjoy this conversation even more. Thank you so very much for joining in, and take good care of yourselves till the time we see you next. Our next session is day after tomorrow. Please come prepared with your OPA sheets, and we will discuss them. In fact, keep looking at the instructions in the group. We may ask you to submit them, submit your documents, and we can pick them up and have a discussion while sharing it with others on the screen. So thank you very much. Take good care of yourself and goodbye.